Hi, my name is Bart Gosnell. I'm one of the instructors here at WITC in the Broadband Internet Technology Program, or BIT as we like to call it. I'm a graduate of telecommunications from here with an associate's degree in 2004. I went to work right away for Time Warner Cable in the Green Bay division. Then I moved over to Charter in Rice Lake. Went down to Richmond, worked for a cable company down there, and got an offer to work for a small construction subcontractor, and that's where I learned how to do fiber optic splicing starting in 2007. I did fiber splicing pretty much exclusively from 2007 up to about 2.5 years ago. I've done fiber splicing. We did fiber to the home stuff for Bloomertel, a bunch of stuff for Mosaic, and then we started having to travel a little bit further away from home. Worked for Novato up in Iron River and Brule, worked down in Quincy, Illinois, or Adams County. I did a lot of work. I've got a map over there I'll introduce to you guys a little bit later. Winnebago County, Iowa, North Liberty, Iowa. So I've been around the Midwest doing quite a bit of splicing. So what we have here, and you two in the back, you've seen this before. Jeff, have you seen ribbon fiber before? Okay. I'll hand this to you anyway. You guys that have not seen fiber before, feel free to kind of pull it apart, take a look at it. What's one of the first things that you notice about these fibers?
Very thin, very brittle.
Very thin, very brittle, very small. Is there any way that you could write on an individual fiber and be able to read it with the naked eye? There's not. So we need another system to identify them. The system that we have come up with is color code. And the sheets that I have given to you, this is the color code. This is the abbreviations that we use. So I've got a list in the first rectangle over here: blue, orange, green, brown, slate, white, red, black, yellow, violet, rose, aqua. And then I've got abbreviations that we use in this column. For kind of a silly reason, fiber is paired up in groups of 12. Telephone is paired up in groups of 5. Human brain has no problem doing quick addition with groups of 5s or 10s, but most of us don't really like doing mental math with groups of 12. The reason that we have groups of 12 is that when they first started running fiber optic cables to individual companies, they would run them in sets of 4. And the company said, well, 4 fibers aren't quite enough. We need more. So they ran in 6 fibers. And running in 6 fibers, you had to use a completely different color code than you could for phone. So they ran in 2 pairs of 6, and they had to add rose and aqua to the mix, which are down at the bottom, rose and aqua. So if you just look at the first 10, it is the same as the phone color code. Blue, orange, green, brown, slate is your ring colors, and then your tip colors are white, red, black, yellow, violet. So we had 2 more. For whatever reason, we started manufacturing cables a little bit better. They're easy to work with. We can add more cables to it, but we never lost rose and aqua. So we're forever saddled with this curse of having to do math in 12s. So when we talk about cable count, we're talking about the right way to find a particular fiber to splice when we just have a set of maps. So we'll look over here. Rice Lake has a CenturyLink office. CenturyLink does not happen to have fiber to the home, but for the purposes of this, we'll discuss it. So let's say we're going to run fiber, and we're going to run it to Jordan's building, to Jeff's building, and to Austin's building. You 3 get buildings because I can't remember names worth a darn. But anyway, when we talk about fiber count, let's say that we have a cable and the cable has just 12 fibers in it. So we write that a specific way. BFO stands for buried fiber optic. You can also have aerial, and on the map that would be AFO, aerial fiber optic. Most fiber though, at least in Wisconsin, it's all buried. The 12 after the BFO, 12 fibers used. And then below the line, we have 1 through 12, and this is the most important part. This is our count, 1 through 12. So we take a look at Jordan's building. Jordan, pick a number 1 through 12. 10. Jeff, 1 through 12.
6.
6. Austin, 1 through 12.
8.
8. All right, so if we are going to assign everyone their own individual fiber, which is how we have to do it, you can't share a fiber. You assign everyone their own individual fiber. We get to Jordan's building first. You look on your cheat sheet here. What is the 10th fiber?
Violet.
Violet. Everyone agree? Violet. And we get to Jeff's building. What is the 6th fiber?
White.
White. And we get to Austin's building, number 8. 8. Black. All right. Pretty simple, right? We've got 12 colors. Everybody gets one fiber. Everybody gets one color. Okay. Unfortunately, we have many, many, many more fibers than 12 counts. Another common one. Okay, so we have BFO 24 up there. What does the 24 stand for?
12 fibers used.
24.
Oh.
Big up.
24 fibers.
24 fibers in the cable, okay? Is it buried or aerial cable?
Buried.
Buried, how do you know it's buried?
Because BFO.
Because it's got BFO. And the count, 1 through 24. So that means that all 24 fibers, the first fiber is 1, second fiber is 24. Sounds a little silly to say. In a minute, though, we're going to take a look at why that's different. So let's give Jordan 24, and we'll give Jeff 2, and we'll give Austin 13. So let's start with Jeff here. What color is Jeff's fiber going to be? Orange. Everyone agree that it's going to be orange? Yeah. Now, if we look at Austin here, Austin is fiber number 13. What color is that going to be? Jordan, you should know this. You stay quiet. Austin, what do you think? Going to be blue? Everyone agree? All right, how'd you figure out it's going to be blue?
Go back to the top.
Pretty simple, right? Goes back to the top again. And then when we get to Jordan, 24, what color is his going to be? Aqua? And how did you determine that's going to be aqua?
Yeah, second round down there, 12 plus 12.
Yeah, pretty simple. So now we have an issue. The issue is that we have 2 ribbons handy. two ribbons present, or in older style cables, we have two loose buffer tubes. Each buffer tube is going to have a color assigned to it. So once you fill up the first 12 fibers in the tube or the ribbon, which is indicated here, the first tube is going to be the blue tube. And then the second tube, which is going to be your second set of 12, is going to be the orange tube. That's why this is written like this. So when we start talking about Austin's number 13 here, the correct way that we write it out is that it is blue ribbon, and then it is blue fiber. Or we shorten it up to blue / blue.
Want to be orange blue?
Oh, you are correct.
Good job, Jeff.
Good job, Jeff. Good catch.
You get a donut.
Does that make sense to you guys? You guys see how the pattern works? Yes? You don't? Okay. What are you missing?
I don't know. It's just,
Well, let's take a step back. Remember where you guys were with the copper and the binders?
yeah.
Okay, it's the same thing. Instead of having 25 pairs going into the next binder, you're having the same thing with the, going into the next ribbon fiber or loose tube buffer.
Okay.
So you only have 12 in there, so once you're done with that 12, you have to go into something else. Does that make sense to you guys? Remember how you had like pairs 26 through 50 when you were splicing those? You were in the orange binder pair. Same concept, okay, as in fiber.
I don't. How did he get the aqua?
Hmm?
How did he get the aqua? He said 12 plus 12. That didn't make any sense. You mean 12 times 12?
Over here for Jordan, is that what you're talking
Yeah, I
about?
don't understand how you get aqua.
Okay. So we've got 24 fibers that we're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
All right, so first thing you do is you try to find the 24th fiber in this set, and it's going to be here in the orange tube.
Right.
And we know by looking at this cheat sheet that aqua is the last one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so we've got, it's going to be the last one there, but let's say it was 23 and it doesn't come up there.
Yeah.
Then it's just going to be up one and it's going to be rows. So if you start counting over again, so we've got 1 through 12 figured out, and then we know we have to get to say 23 here. We ignore those numbers, and then we go 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Okay.
That's how you get to, if it was going to be rows here, if you were going to get to 23, that's how we got to 24.
All right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
You get that? Yeah.
So that would explain Austin's fiber number 13. What is Jeff's fiber number 2? How are we going to represent that? Cody, any ideas?
No,
Fiber number 2?
yeah,
Okay. So if our cable count is 1 through 24,
yeah.
where does 2 fall on this sheet?
Blue one.
All right, it's in the blue, it's in the first one, okay? And then if you look over here, it's number 2 in the first one, so you just count down 1, 2.
Okay,
Okay, so what tube or what ribbon are we gonna be?
or be an orange.
It's gonna be the orange fiber in the
Yeah.
blue tube.
Yeah, blue, okay.
So this is really dumbed down, really easy stuff. It gets harder later. Blue ribbon, orange fiber. And now with Jordan, we kind of went through that. It is going to be the orange ribbon and the aqua fiber. All right, but-
Yeah, before we go any further, this is critical. This is really, if we go past this and you don't understand this concept, you're gonna be lost for the rest of the period here. So does this make sense to you guys? Okay,
All right, so we'll work it in reverse now. Let's say somebody's fiber is blue-red. What does it mean when I write out blue-red? Austin?
Blue, red fiber.
Right, and what number is that?
That'd be 7.
7. Does everyone see how that worked? Cody, you got that?
Yeah.
Okay. I forget your name?
Brian.
Brian, does that make sense to you?
Yep.
All right, so what if we made it a little trickier? What if it was? What if it was aqua?
The fiber orange,
So
12, 12.
we're looking for a number here. Austin, I know you got it figured out,
So
so.
that'd be 12.
Hmm?
12.
Would it be 12?
The ribbon would be aqua fiber.
Yes, the aqua fiber is the 12th one in the pattern. What ribbon is it gonna be? It's gonna be the aqua ribbon. So if you look way down here at the bottom, the aqua ribbon is gonna have a count of 133 to 144. So the last one in that ribbon is gonna be what? 144. Brian, does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's got that figured out?
Later on, after we get through this, we're gonna pull up some maps so you guys can see how this actually is related, okay?
We have CenturyLink again, and we are leaving the CenturyLink building with a 24 count fiber. The count on it is 1 through 24. We get to a street, we get to an intersection. This triangle is, the triangle always means there's a splice point there. We splice on 2 12 count cables, 12 fiber cables. Let's look at the southern one first. The southern one is only going to have 12 fibers in it. It's going to be 1 through 12. Make sense? All right, so this is where it gets a little trickier. 1 through 12 is used up here. We've used it up here. What fibers are left after 1 through 12? It's 13 through 24. So they get assigned up here. Now, what gets tricky about this is that you have to kind of reassign everything in your thinking, where we've only got 12 fibers available here, but we're calling them 13 through 24. So when you get to this particular cable, fiber number 13 is, the process is going to start itself over again. It's going to be the blue fiber. It's going to be the first fiber. Make sense to you? All right. So then 14 is going to be, it's going to be orange. It's going to be the second one. Okay, that makes sense. So if you got a worksheet that said you got to go hook up, we're going to pick on Jeff again. You leave CenturyLink, you got to go hook Jeff up to fiber 15. So how do you determine what fiber that is? Jeff, what do you think?
No, a question before that, is the bottom one a Bluetooth and the top one a orange tube then, or are they both Bluetooth?
Oh, here,
Yeah,
this is also going to be a Bluetooth, just because it is a 12 count and it only has a Bluetooth, which is why you kind of have to reassign everything in your head. Or basically you start your count over. A lot of times you will see, if you go into a splicing trailer, they will have a whiteboard and they will have a cheat sheet just like that posted up there with a bunch of numbers pointed out, and you will see fiber splicers counting on their fingers all the time. We look stupid, but not as stupid as if we get the wrong one spliced.
Bart, I got a question.
Yes.
Do they still have fibers out there that just had 6 fibers in buffer tubes?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So if that was the case, then you might have 2 buffer tubes in that fiber count of BFO 12. 6 being in the blue and 6 being in the orange. Is that possible?
Oh, yeah, yeah, that happens all the time. Sumitomo did that with a 36 count. They put that in 6 tubes instead of 3 tubes. They don't anymore, but it did happen.
So when you're out there, keep in mind, there's a variety of different types of fibers and manufacturers that did some silly things way back when. And do you think they're just going to tear up that fiber and put the proper stuff that they do now? No.
So we go out here and we have to find fiber 15. So we go to Jeff's house, we take a look at it. What color, what tube and what color is fiber 15 going to be?
blue, green, fiber.
Blue tube, green fiber. Make sense? Okay. Let's say that it wasn't spliced and we went here and we had to splice. What would our splices look like? We've got 2 different cables coming in. What are we going to splice on this cable here? We've got blue tube, orange tube, and then here we have just a blue tube. Oops, we've got a guy that can't spell. All right, so what's the splicing going to look like?
The orange tube would get spliced into the north Bluetooth.
Yep, makes sense to everybody? All right, Paul, can we pause everything?
No.
No?
Just keep on going at it. What did you want to do?
Oh, we've been at it for a half hour. It's going to give everyone a 5-minute break to walk
Go ahead.
around, grab
We'll
a drink of
take
water.
a break, then we'll resume.